Hi, folks. Pastor Blair here. Great to be able to join you today for our chapel together. And today, what I want to talk about is sort of thoughts around like how the world is going to be changing and the decisions we're going to have to make over the next few months as COVID wanes and we start to step into a new world. We're going to step into a world that's very different. I mean, I think many of these changes will be permanent. You know, there's not going to be a going back to what was. There's going to be something new and different. And how do we embrace it? Well, I think one of the primary challenges is this, and it's one I think that we all have to think about from a spiritual level. It's the choice between two things. Do we want to be angry or do we want to build community? Anger or community? I think that's really a key decision. I know as a pastor, boy, I hear a lot of angry people these days. And yet, angry people, ready for this? They don't build stuff. They really don't build stuff. People who are oriented to community, though, those are the real builders. And those are the people, you know, I think many of us are particularly interested in supporting and helping and collaborating with moving forward. So I want to talk about anger first. What's the challenge with anger? Well, there are obviously times for good anger, what in the new church is called zeal. There's obviously times for that. But most of the time with anger, it's pretty destructive. You know, and what anger does is anger takes the other person and it squashes them down to one dimension. It makes them just that, whatever that is, and you can fill in any number of things. Whatever that is, it makes them just that. It doesn't allow them into their full humanity, because in their full humanity, it's awfully hard to be angry at people when you understand the bigger picture of things. So when you get squashed into that one dimension, oftentimes all that's left of our memory and our thought of that other person is just irritants, just the whole list, the whole litany and list of all the things they've done wrong over all time. That kind of approach does not work terribly well, again, because it doesn't build anything. All it's interested in is accusing and judging. That's it. That's all anger. That's the only agenda that anger has. And one of the biggest challenges, and this I say with a smile, anger feels good. And we have to say that, and we have to remind ourselves over and over again that if you think you're going to get rid of anger because somehow anger doesn't feel good, probably not going to be that successful, because personally, I love getting angry. I love that feeling of like righteousness and all that stuff, but it doesn't really get anywhere. So what do we have to choose then? Well, we have to choose community. We have to choose community and community building, how we all can contribute to the common good. That place is much more pliable. That place has much softer edges. That place is much more loving. That place is much more willing to listen to the other as we seek to build community moving forward. And we're going to need community builders. It is so easy these days, you know, to just be angry. And especially with social media and the rabbit holes there, we can literally totally surround ourselves with anger 24/7. It's much more work to actually decide something different, decide to put that down and decide to lift this up, which is community and community building. Now, where's there a story from the Bible that talks maybe about that orientation? Well, it's a story I loved as a little boy. I love today. I think it's just deeply powerful. And it's the story of who is regarded as the greatest king of all time in ancient Israel. And that would be King Solomon. So Solomon he's getting ready to take on the throne. And God asks him, well, like, what do you want? You know, tell me what you want. And I want you to listen carefully to what he says. He says the following: I'm a little child and don't know how to go out or to come in. And then he goes on to say, and your servant is in the midst of a great people. So he asked God, so give me a wise and understanding heart so I can discern good from evil. So I want to look at that, just the beautiful parts of that. First off, there's this beautiful concept, this beautiful way of holding humility. And it's humility that says like, hey, here's this powerful king. And he goes, look, I'm a kid. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to go out. I don't know how to come in. Lord, I need your help. And then he goes on to say, well, what does he need help with? Well, he sees himself, as we all should, as a servant. As a servant, not where that he's greater than others, but a servant with others greater than him. And then he asks for this. He asks for this deeply understanding heart. Not like a brain to figure it all out, not like the world's best strategic plan. He doesn't even ask for the scales of justice, interestingly, to be able to weigh and measure things. He asks for an understanding heart. I think, folks, what God's trying to share with us there is the softness that we need in order to build community. Anger is easy to understand. It's rigid, it's hard, it's got clear lines, it's got clear ideas of right and wrong and who's violated this, who's violated that. But community building has much softer edges. And that may feel like some sort of cop-out, but it's not. Community builders are the people we remember. Community builders are the people who we hold up as heroes because they do stuff. Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, all kinds of people who would come under that umbrella of being community builders. So that's what our hope is moving forward, is that we can really find a way to do that. And you know, as this beautiful passage of New Church Theology says, when we gather in that kind of collective body and we seek to serve, what do we discover there? Well, we discover a lot of enlightenment and a lot of joy. The journey's a lot of fun when we can do that. So, the takeaway's real simple. As we move forward into this new era, may you find that place for that beginner's mind, that deep humility that will allow you to be part of the answer, not part of the problem. And may we all do our best to put anger aside, knowing that while it may feel good, it may even feel in some ways necessary, our ego will tell us that, knowing that anger sure is a destructive tool to use. But community building, that's where the future lies. So thank you, folks, for joining me this morning. I wish you all the very best. God bless.